Hello, dear cat lovers. Today, we will talk about a very relevant issue that concerns almost every owner of a furry pet. Why do cats scratch furniture? Surely many, while reading these lines, involuntarily glanced at their sofa or chair bearing the marks of cat claws. But before getting upset about the damaged furniture, let's understand the reasons for such behavior of our four-legged friends. Interestingly, the history of cats' relationship with furniture spans millennia. Even in ancient Egypt, people faced this problem. Archaeologists have found ancient papyri mentioning how cats scratched wooden sarcophagi and furniture. And in medieval European manuscripts, you can find advice on protecting expensive furniture from cat claws. Let's start with the most important thing. Scratching is a vital instinct for cats. In the wild, their ancient ancestors used it. This action is not only for sharpening claws, but also for survival. Imagine the ancient ancestor of our domestic cat who lived many thousands of years ago. For him, sharp claws were a matter of life and death. They helped in hunting, defending against enemies, and climbing trees. Modern research shows that the process of scratching involves several important mechanisms in the body of the cat. During this action, special receptors in the paw pads are activated, and pleasure hormones are released. Important muscle work occurs. Scientists from the University of California conducted an interesting study during which they found that cats spend on scratching on average from 15 to 40 minutes a day, dividing this time into short sessions of 2-3 minutes. Let's break down the main reasons why cats scratch furniture. And believe me, there are many more than it might seem at first glance. The first reason is, of course, the necessity of claw care. Cats, like all members of the feline family, have claws that grow continuously. They consist of several layers, and the outer layer periodically peels off, like scales. In nature, wild cats wear down their claws on tree bark, stones, and other hard surfaces. Our domestic pets are forced to find substitutes for natural materials, and often this substitute becomes our furniture. By the way, did you know that the structure of a cat's claw is unique? It consists of two main parts, the inner core and the outer sheath. The outer sheath constantly wears out and needs to be removed. When a cat scratches a surface, it removes this outer layer, revealing a new, sharper claw. It's similar to how we trim our nails, but for cats, this process is vital. Without regular filing, the claws can grow into the paw pads, causing pain and inflammation. The second reason is related to territorial behavior, and here things are much more complex than they might seem. The fact is, cats have special pheromone glands located on their paws, a true natural perfume factory. When a cat scratches a surface, it leaves not only visible marks, but also a complex chemical message for other cats. Scientists have discovered that this natural autograph consists of more than 30 different chemical compounds, each carrying specific information about the cat's age, gender, health status, and even mood. An interesting fact. The pheromones that a cat leaves when scratching can last up to 2 weeks. That's why cats regularly refresh their marks. Have you noticed that a cat often returns to the same place to scratch? Now you know why she updates her business card. The third reason is a means of communication and self-expression. Imagine that for a cat, scratches on furniture are like social media posts. For a person, they can tell other cats a lot of interesting details. For example, the height of the scratches indicates the size of the cat. The depth of the grooves, speaks of strength, and the frequency of updating the marks shows how actively the animal marks its territory. In multi-cat households, you can observe real negotiations through scratching. Cats can leave marks, one on top of the other, as if arguing about who owns the territory. It's a kind of dialogue that we humans cannot read. But other cats read this information flawlessly. The fourth reason for scratching is physical exercise and stretching. When a cat scratches a vertical surface, it, simultaneously, stretches the muscles of its back, shoulders, and paws. It's a kind of cat yoga. This is especially important for domestic cats who do not have the opportunity to run a lot and climb trees like their wild relatives. Scratching helps them maintain muscle tone and flexibility. Research shows that during scratching, the same muscle groups are activated in cats as when climbing trees. This is an evolutionarily fixed mechanism that helps cats keep themselves in shape even in conditions of limited mobility. When a cat stretches to its full length, gripping a surface with its claws, it can stretch 50% longer than its usual size. The fifth reason is stress relief and stress reduction, and emotional release. Yes, cats also experience stress and need ways to relieve it. For them, scratching is a kind of meditation and psychotherapy simultaneously. Monotonous movements, pleasant sensations from the process, release of endorphins, all of this helps the cat to relax and calm down. Veterinary psychologists note that cats often start scratching furniture more actively during periods of stress, when moving, the arrival of a new family member, renovations, or simply a change in their usual routine. In this way, they try to create a comfort zone around themselves, filled with familiar scents and markings. The sixth reason might surprise you. It's to attract the owner's attention. Cats, smart creatures, they quickly understand which actions provoke an immediate reaction from us. If a cat once noticed that scratching the sofa makes you react instantly, run over, shout, or even just pay attention to her, she might use this trick over and over again. In one experiment, scientists observed the behavior of cats in domestic settings and noticed that some animals started scratching furniture, precisely when the owner was busy and not paying attention to them. As soon as the person reacted, the cat would stop the undesirable behavior. This is a classic example of how negative attention is better for a cat than no attention at all. The seventh reason is related to play behavior. For kittens, scratching, it's part of play, a way to explore the world and train their hunting skills. Unfortunately, this habit can persist into adulthood, especially if the cat doesn't get enough other opportunities for play and hunting. Interestingly, different cat breeds have different tendencies to scratch. For example, active breeds like the Bengal or Abyssinian cats require more physical activity and may scratch furniture more often if they don't get enough exercise. On the other hand, Persian or British cats are usually less active and may not show as much interest in scratching. The eighth reason is a reaction to changes in the environment. They are very sensitive to changes, and scratching, it might be their way of adapting to new conditions. For example, if new furniture appears in the house, a cat may start scratching it to claim it, making it part of its territory. Scientists from the University of Tokyo conducted an interesting study in which they found that cats scratch particularly actively new items in the house within the first 48 hours after their appearance. It's a kind of ritual for accepting a new item into their space. The ninth reason might be related to health. Sometimes its increased scratching can be a sign of health issues, ranging from parasites to arthritis or neurological disorders. If a cat suddenly changes its behavior and starts scratching furniture much more actively, it might be a reason to visit the veterinarian. For example, cats with arthritis may scratch horizontal surfaces more often because it's difficult for them to stretch upwards. And cats with neurological issues may exhibit compulsive behavior, including excessive scratching. The 10th reason is simply habit and enjoyment. Yes, sometimes cats scratch furniture just because they enjoy it. The pleasant tactile sensations, the sound of claws sliding over fabric or wood, the opportunity to stretch. All of this brings pleasure to cats. Research on cats' brain activity shows that their pleasure centers are activated during scratching. Endorphins, the hormones of happiness, are released in the brain. It's no surprise that they seek to repeat this action over and over again. Now that we have understood the reasons, let's talk about what to do to preserve both the furniture and a good relationship with your pet. The first and most important thing, provide the cat with special scratching devices. These can be scratching posts of various types, vertical poles, horizontal pads, wall panels. The main thing is to choose the right material and location. Cats are very individual in their preferences. Some like sisal, others prefer cardboard, and others a cocktail. Carpet covering. Observe your pet to see which surfaces in the house it prefers to scratch. This will guide you in choosing the material for the scratching post. Equally important is the correct placement of the scratching post. Many owners complain that they bought an expensive scratching post, but the cat doesn't use it. The secret is that the scratching post should be placed in a socially significant location, where the cat spends a lot of time and where family members pass by. Don't hide the scratching post in a far corner, as it will be useless there. An interesting fact. Research shows that cats prefer scratching posts that are at least 70 centimeters tall, as this allows them to fully stretch out. They also like stable structures. A wobbly scratching post can be uncomfortable for them. It causes distrust and fear in cats. The second important point is getting the cat accustomed to the scratching post. This is a process that requires patience and consistency. Never punish a cat for scratching furniture. This will only worsen the problem and may cause stress for the animal. Instead, use positive reinforcement. When the cat uses the scratching post, praise her, pet her. Give her a treat. You can even play with her near the scratching post. Using a toy on a string can help associate the scratching post with pleasant emotions. If the cat stubbornly ignores the scratching post, try to attract her attention with catnip or special pheromone sprays. Rub the scratching post with catnip or spray it. This might interest your pet. The third way to protect furniture is temporary measures while the cat learns to use the scratching post. You can use double-sided tape or special protective covers on the areas that the cat particularly likes to scratch. Most cats do not like sticky surfaces and will avoid such places. There are also special sprays with a repellent scent, usually based on citrus or other aromas that cats dislike. However, be careful, as some cats may react to such scents with stress, which only exacerbates the problem. The fourth method is regular claw trimming. This will not completely solve the problem, as cats scratch furniture not only to wear down their claws, but it can reduce the damage. It's important to trim the claws correctly without touching the living tissue, the pulp. If you are not confident in your skills, it's better to consult a veterinarian or groomer. There are also special soft caps for claws known as anti-scratch caps. They are applied to the cat's claws using safe glue and prevent damage to furniture. However, these caps need to be replaced every 4-6 weeks, and not all cats tolerate them well. The fifth method is enriching the cat's living environment. Cats often scratch furniture out of boredom or a lack of physical activity. Provide your pet with plenty of toys, organize climbing areas, and install shelves on the walls for the cat to move around. The more enriched your cat's life is, the less desire it will have to scratch the furniture. Research shows that cats with access to vertical spaces, shelves, and cat trees exhibit less problematic behavior, including furniture scratching. This is because, in nature, cats are arboreal animals, and the ability to climb to heights satisfies their natural needs. The sixth method is regular play with the cat. Devote at least 15-20 minutes a day to your pet. For active play, this will help the cat release energy, relieve stress, and satisfy its hunting instinct. Toys that mimic prey, such as mice, feather toys on a string, and laser pointers are especially effective. Interestingly, studies show a direct link between the amount of time an owner spends playing with their cat and a reduction in problematic behavior. Cats that are regularly played with are 30% less likely to exhibit undesirable behavior, including damaging furniture. The seventh method is the use of pheromones. In veterinary pharmacies, you can find special diffusers with synthetic pheromones that help cats feel calmer and safer. This is especially useful in stressful situations, such as moving, the arrival of a new family member, or another animal. Clinical trials show that the use of pheromone diffusers can reduce the frequency of undesirable behavior, including scratching furniture, by 40-50%. It's not a cure-all, but a good addition to other methods. The eighth method is consulting with a veterinary behavior specialist. If the problem with scratching furniture becomes really serious and nothing helps, it's worth consulting a professional. Your cat may have specific behavioral issues that require an individual approach. A behavior specialist can develop a behavior modification program that takes into account the unique characteristics of your cat. This approach is especially effective in complex cases where standard methods do not work. And finally, the most important thing is patience and understanding. Remember that scratching for a cat is not an act of vandalism or revenge, but a natural need. Our task is not to completely eradicate this behavior, but to channel it in the right direction. Research shows that most behavioral problems in cats are resolved within 2 to 3 months with proper assessment and a consistent approach. The main thing is not to give up and to keep working on the problem. In conclusion, I would like to say that relationships with a cat are always a dialogue, not a monologue. We cannot simply forbid a cat from following its natural instincts, but we can find a compromise that suits both us and our furry friends. We hope that this information was useful and will help you in the future better understand your pet. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share your stories in the comments. See you next time.